Hello and welcome to all of you to my humble mansion in Doha, the house becoming a very famous house now, where I'm sharing with Grant Wall, with James Horncastle, and with Raphael Honigstein. I've got James Horncastle in his room. I said I need the living room for me because I'm just going to be talking to all of you. So this is going to be a bit of an experiment. It's a coffee with Guillem live, where you can put your questions, suggestions, your thoughts on the tournament, and I'll be reading out as many as I can. We'll be together for about 25 minutes, half an hour, something like that. But just to get a glimpse of what I've been doing and what this coffee with Guillem is about, I'm just going to play an exclusive clip that you wouldn't have seen unless you've come to this link. And yeah, this is it.
Then we'll sleep. It's early. We finished 4 a.m. We all went to bed, and it's not 9 yet. But I have to go to the city centre to do a bit of Five Live. I do need a coffee first. That's it. I've learned to do it all with one hand. Need to warm it up a bit. Need to think about Spain. First thing to say is that Germany were there for the taking, but at the end they could have won. So I think a draw is fair enough. Second thing to say, German players were asking the Spanish players to beat Japan. Please, beat Japan. And you know what? Spain will try to beat Japan. If nothing else, for the reason that you have to keep Germany in contention. They can beat some of the big guns. We're not meeting Germany until the final now, so yes, they'll aim to beat Japan. Third, many may question the style of Spain. Because through making mistakes by building from the back is how some of the chances were created by Germany. But Spain will go to the end with this style. They are happy to risk because it creates benefits on the other end if you beat the pressure of Germany, which we did in the first half, not so much in the second. It's also a way of living. Do you want to be the one who provoke things, or do you want to be the submitted one that just go with the flow and defend and are conservative? You basically wait for things to happen for you. Well, we are the provoking things type, and I'm very much up for that. What else to say? Jamal Musiala was outstanding. What a player, 19-year-old. Of course, with the power to, when he gets the ball, to beat people. With the pace in the first 10-15 meters, but a brain, his first touch, fantastic. So I've been dropped at So Wakif, follow me. This is one of the entrances. Of course, this was a market area and an old town that was destroyed by a fire and rebuilt. So most of the buildings are new or newish, with of course the old style in mind. And even though it's 10 o'clock, there are already fans around here.
I love the music, don't you? And it's got a variation as well. We've added the Doha version to it. So sometimes we play that one, and sometimes we play the one with the whistling. Love the comments I've been getting on the whole coffee with Guillem thing. It feels like you with me, and I'm with you. So we're all sharing the same kind of tournament. And yeah, hopefully you agree or disagree with some of the thoughts that I've been putting forward, and I expect you to tell me so today. So without further ado, let me see what you've been asking, and let's start the conversation, shall we? Nilante Roy saying hello. How far you reckon Portugal can go in this World Cup? I was supposed to go to Portugal, Uruguay yesterday. I managed to book myself through the BBC a ticket per day or a game per day, but you can cancel it in advance. If you don't go, you get a yellow card from FIFA, and then you miss another one, and then horrible things could happen to you, like being knocked out of the tournament or something. Anyway, I told BBC, look, I need a rest after 2 days, very intense days where I slept 2, 3 hours per day. And then I had to, be fresh in my mind. I didn't have the energy to go to Portugal or Uruguay, so I watched it at home. But what I saw was, first of all, an Uruguay team that decided not to play football, but just to fight. And they've got the players to play football. But secondly, much more consistent from Portugal. And it is a team that has got a lot of quality. What they lacked in the first game was the ability to make moves off the ball, because we know Bernardo Silva or Bruno Fernandes are very, very good with the ball. William Carvalho, who started on this occasion, they can't filter a pass through the lines, but they need players to actually run in behind. Eventually, they not only dominated, they actually made those shots, the 15 that you see in there, effective. In fact, with 3 shots on target, 2 went in. Possession was clearly for Portugal, who had more of the ball. Uruguay were much more direct, and they deserve the victory. Oh, Bruno Fernandes scored 2 goals. I think Cristiano's disputing that, as you know, because it was the hair of God that actually gave him the goal. Conor Martin is asking, will Ronaldo be awarded the goal? Do you know what? I question that, and I know that FIFA has given it to Bruno Fernandes, and I know that Cristiano has messaged Piers Morgan saying that if he scored it, you can tell that he wanted the goal. But Piers has added that Bruno Fernandes also knows that Cristiano scored the goal. Really? Because I didn't hear Bruno Fernandes saying that in the mix zone or after to any journalist. So in any case, let me tell you what I saw with Cristiano Ronaldo in the first game. And I had this theory in my head, I think I shared it with you, that not only Portugal can be better without Cristiano, I think they can. With Rafael Leao, for instance, instead of Cristiano, more movement, more difficult to predict what's happening, less obsession to put crosses in, because with Cristiano, that's what you have to do. Anyway, there was all that in my head, and I'm thinking maybe Fernando Santos will think, let's take Cristiano away, without realizing that, number one, he's never ever going to do that. Fernando Santos and Cristiano Ronaldo, they're very close. And secondly, the 10 minutes before the game show me that he's unreplaceable. Why am I saying that? Because he is the captain, was shaking the hands of all the kids. When he came into the pitch, the noise of the stadium, that's what they wanted. Every time he has the ball, and those, not trying to do these bicycle, we call them flicks, but really without doing it. We just moved a bit of movement, all passing with the chest, and the stadium goes wild. Irreplaceable for FIFA, for Portugal, for Fernando Santos. So he will be there until the end. I think that could limit the chances of Portugal, but in any case, he will be there. And according to himself, scored. He was crucial for that goal, because if he hadn't made the jump, the goalkeeper would have just picked the ball and that would be it. So, but would they give it to him? I think they might. This is just me. FIFA are very strong with the rules, but also feel the wave of fans. They may just actually change their mind and take it off Bruno Fernandes. They might. It'll be something that it will require a process that it may be just too conflicted to do, and may not do it. But I'm just thinking it will be debated. I'm sure it will be debated. In any case, Portugal showed that they were, especially in the last 20 minutes of the game, that they were superior to Uruguay, and there was much more movement. Bruno Fernandes scoring, that helps as well. And we know that they've got a lot of strength in numbers. Nuno Mendes had to be replaced, the left back, and that's a problem for them, but not a huge problem, as they have, as I said, depth in the squad. So they have they are candidates to get to quarterfinals, and then we'll see after that. So winning it, maybe not, and partly I think because of Cristiano. What else have we got? Drink some water as well. Oh, Nelly Unson. Thank you. It says, been following you for years. Vamos. Thank you very much for your contribution. And It's been an interesting journey, hasn't it? All these years from, I don't know, Revista de la Liga and Sky, and my work with Don Balón for Spanish media, to then adapt to whatever was coming. I was one of the early ones to use Twitter. I had my own web page very earlier on, and my own podcast as well, and my own YouTube channel, even though for a while I didn't use it. But it's such a potential, such a powerful tool to get in touch with you. And it's all about adapting. I've been an immigrant since I was 23. I've been away from my country, so I had to do that. I had to just adapt, learn another language, another way of thinking when I was in England, and with the profession has been exactly the same. Just sense whatever things are going. Now I'm in a position where I can choose what I do, and I do the things I'm very passionate about, like books. So I'm not on Twitch, for instance. I don't plan to be any soon. This is fine in a way to communicate live with you. This, of course, potentiate everything I do is on my Twitter. I'm on Instagram, LinkedIn, all that, and I think that's probably enough. I try to create or to get through me as much content as I can, content that I do for myself or for the BBC or for CBS or for Gold TV in Spain or Cope Radio in Spain, and that's plenty. That's plenty of me out there. Billy Williams says, "Do you think Neymar will be back?" I've been told that he won't. I don't have any more evidence, but he's got a bone edema, which takes a long while to sort out. That's fluid in your bone, and I've asked doctors who tell me that takes a long while to recover from. It's painful, and it depends. The recuperation depends on each person, but sometimes you have to get operated for it. So I was told to expect for Neymar not to play, and he will be so disappointed if that's the case. Not only because Brazil get a little bit more of magic with him, they can still win the World Cup without him, but he's prepared for it. I don't think Neymar is a Saturday player anymore. He's a Tuesday, Wednesday player, Champions League, or a summer player, or winter in this case, like a European Championship, Copa America or a World Cup. I think he's falling out of love with football, as in the kind of thing that takes you to be an elite player and to win all the competitions, all the training that you have to do, all the preparation. He prefers to be sitting on his chair playing computer games until 3 a.m, and then maybe be a little bit late in training because he doesn't have the passion for it anymore. But when it comes to a tournament like this, he just prepares himself, and he has prepared himself so well that he has been one of the top 5 most influential players in terms of goals and assists, and collaborating with winning games in the whole of Europe. He was in a really good form. And even though I think this Brazil, yes, of course, they need somebody like Neymar, but Neymar slowed the process of getting to creating chances because he likes the move to have a dribble or something that is technical, very impressive, and kill the fluidity a little bit. They can replace that. I'm not sure you can replace it with Paquetá and Fred. I think Paquetá should go back to Casemiro and be the 2 players, especially centre midfielder, holding midfielders, that will be behind the ball with at least 3 other defenders, 5 behind the ball, and let the other 6 to actually 5 to make the impact. That's how Brazil are playing. 4-2-4 really is 4 forwards, sometimes an extra midfielder helping them, and then go and attack. And they are like a hammer, just hitting a wall. Eventually, it just opens up, it just crumbles down. That's Brazil. So not impressive in the way that the football is fluid, but impressive in the way that if it's not the guys on the pitch, the ones that will come on will make a difference. Without Neymar, a bit less of the magic in the last third, still able to win every single game. I know they haven't won in 20 years, which sounds amazing. My first World Cup was in 2002, and that's the one that Brazil last win of Brazil. And the last 4 winners of the World Cup have been Europeans. But I do believe that Brazil are favourites to this one, which means, sadly, that may even knocked out Spain. That will be the tough one for them. We make their life very, very difficult. We'll meet in the quarterfinals. I hope Spain wins, but I feel that Brazil seem to have a little bit more, especially up front, and they're very solid at the back as well. So, what else have we got? Oh my God, we've done 15 minutes already. I should talk less. I should let you talk more. I won't read the name because it's a funny name. Mario. Is there any weakness in the French national team? That's the other side, that the other national team that seemed very impressive. They do the things they do. Again, Brazil and France have decided to do the same thing. They've got so much power up front that as long as there are 5 players behind the ball, it'll be difficult to beat them. And you won't see fluid football. But what you will see is once the ball gets to the last third, a lot of possibilities. Mbappe wants to do everything still, and I know there's been a lot of praise towards Mbappe. He's the perfect forward. He does everything well. I still think that he doesn't always choose well. Doesn't always choose well. Sometimes he should pass the ball. He should keep it. He should not dribble but pass. Doesn't always choose well. But obviously he has that magic and the ability, the power to create something out of nothing. When you have that, you have to be considered favorites. But the key to that attack is Griezmann. Griezmann, it just moves and links up with the middle, opens up defenses, appears sometimes in the box as well. A lot of things that make France favorites. Can we go back to the previous question? Because it's a friend of mine who asked it, and I want to read it. I didn't have time to read it. Can we? Yes. Giacomo Malamachi, who is, of course, the director of football or technical secretary of the women's side at Beagles United. Hello, Giacomo. Will Mbappe be rested for third game, or will he be chasing records? Try to tell him that he won't play the third game. Try to tell him. He feels capable of playing a game a day. Physically, he's fine, not a problem. And he will play because we're in the amazing situation that if he wins another World Cup, is what, 22, 23? And he will be just one from Pelé. So he definitely wants to be in the team. I can't remember now exactly the goal scoring form, but compared to Messi and Ronaldo, I think Messi's got 7 and Ronaldo's got 9 or 8. But he's ahead of them already. Something crazy. If anybody can help me with the stats, please do so, because it is very impressive. So thank you, Giacomo, for the question. And then we can go to the next one. Michael Moran. Hello, Gap and the boys. Gap? See, that happens very often because we're all foreign. It just confuses. I imagine you just hear a foreign accent, and it doesn't matter if I'm called Guillem, for instance, and Gap is somebody else. It's just one of the foreign teams, one of the foreign guys. Hello, Guillem and the boys, I imagine you were trying to say. I thought Griezmann was exceptional in the last France game, and if he can continue in the form, he can lead France to glory again. I absolutely agree, John Moran. Michael Moran. And I've just said that Griezmann he reads the game so well. And the thing that he couldn't play whole games for a while, that's benefited him because look at him, he's flying at the moment. He did do in the last month, so that means that he was much sharp. And yes, he is a very important part of that. That with the lack of, although Rabiot is doing well, but the lack of big midfielders, as in midfielders that with a lot of personality, Griezmann has got to do a lot of that, a lot of what Kanté used to do or Pogba used to do, and he's doing it very, very well. So yes, Brazil and France for me are the favorites. Alamin Germano Darboy says, I had Benzema. I heard Benzema is planning to return to Qatar. Now, it's how stories go, isn't it? The story is Benzema hasn't been taken out of the squad. So Benzema could actually go back with France. That's the story. That has been made of, Benzema is coming back. No. The Shams already said, I spoke to him when he left. No interest in bringing him back. Real Madrid don't count on him going back. Benzema, no intention of going back. And in fact, he hasn't recovered yet. He hasn't started training yet. So no, Benzema is not coming back. By the way, I do believe that in the way that Deschamps plays, Benzema, it requires longer for Benzema to make the impact that he should make, for everybody to understand what Benzema can offer, for the team to go out around Benzema in that style that he wants, the 1-2s, the intricate passing in the last third, the movements around him that makes any team better. But with France, there are two clear ways of seeing what has to happen. The Mbappe one, direct, as soon as he gets the ball, turns and tries to beat defenders, and the Benzema one, which is more link up. Two different ways. So in a way, it's better that actually France have gone back to just one way of thinking about how to play. That's what I think. Eli Manoli says, what is your honor's opinion on Argentina and why they had this slow start? Argentina. I've just spent an hour and a half talking to Argentinian friends in an event that we organized in the city center. And we spend, I'd say, most of it talking about Argentina. So in brief, there's a bunch of things here. Luis Enrique, with Spain, when he arrived in 2018, which was the same time that Scaloni, has insisted on one idea, and he's got the players that fit that idea. And right now, everybody knows what has to happen at every part of the pitch under any circumstances. More or less, that's what Spain is. Argentina had, with Scaloni, who hasn't got the experience, hasn't lost many games as a manager, hasn't won, or he's won a lot, 36 in a row with Argentina, but who has won the Copa America as well, but who hasn't got experience when things go wrong, especially. Had one way of playing, and the last year and a half changed it. Changed 5 players from Saudi Arabia to Mexico to the next game against Mexico. So still trying to form the idea, and it's a little bit blurred. So still using things that they hope he works, like De Paul, who I think is out of form, out of shape. Others like Enzo. It seems like Enzo's going to come on into the squad, into the 11, but he should have started earlier, maybe. Why change the fullbacks? Because the relationship, especially between Messi and the fullback, is so important, and you only get that kind of associations smoothly with time. There's none of that. So at least they got the right style, which is, lines together to defend, to get the ball back as soon as possible, and to attack as well. So then you get the best of Messi, but the ball doesn't move fluid enough to actually find gaps of space that Messi can exploit, right? So because that's not happening, a lot of the time Messi gets the ball or gets given the ball when he's stood. And then he's like, try to do something. He doesn't have the kind of explosive pace anymore. He will be surrounded by 3 players anyway. So Argentina have to create the conditions for a better Messi. You cannot expect Messi to solve everything as he did with Mexico. So some clues there. A manager that's still learning, a team that is too slow because they don't know each other well. The 11 that play, they don't have the fluidity that the bigger sides or the teams that have played together for a long while, same 11 or close to it, that fluidity it gets created. Without that, it's difficult to actually open up spaces. But they are very competitive. They are very, very competitive. I thought it was exaggerated the way that the Mexican game was treated as a matter of life and death. It's just a game. Scaloni, the manager, saying that, but nobody's listening because it's about drama with Argentina. But I don't think they have what is required to win the World Cup. I hope they go far. I would like Messi to lead the World Cup, but I don't think this team has got that in them. I hope to get wrong. I hope to be wrong. So Mashad 209, he says, hi Guillem, mate, big fan. Thank you. Should Messi win the World Cup? What will he do after the World Cup? Okay. Well, as I say, I wish he could win the World Cup, but I'm not sure he's got the team for it. After the World Cup, he goes to PSG and try to win the Champions League and sign another contract with PSG. That's what I think right now it's happening. So Barcelona have not offered anything. There is no commercial strategy to bring him back. There is no real plan for financial plan for Messi to come back. None of that. It's just words at the moment. And Xavi wants him at Barcelona, but it's just words. And the Inter Miami, which Luke Gallatly is asking, is Busquets and Messi to Inter Miami next season possible? Busquets, yes. It seems all agreed. It'd be a surprise if he stays at Barcelona. Let's put it that way. I think he's ready to make another move to go to Inter Miami. And in the case of Messi, no, he's not ready for the MLS. I think it's quite clear. If you Messi, have a look at what he's doing this season. Have a look at what's happening with PSG. Have a look at the fact that PSG still keeps Neymar and Mbappe next season. Why would you go? Not ready. So I think PSG will offer. He's got a 2-year contract plus one. Plus one will be next season. They're gonna ignore that one, and PSG are gonna offer him 1+1, an extra year solid, and then a +1 depending on circumstances. And I think Messi is closer to sign that than anything else. So we have to see if because Barcelona have not offered anything. If they do, then the conversation will change, but they haven't offered anything, and PSG are about to offer that. So favorite PSG to keep him. Busquets will have to wait for Messi to arrive. And yes, MLS I think is the next step. Possibly Inter Miami, as the conversations have been going on for a while, but nothing is signed yet. But when these stories come out, like that Messi is set to go to Inter Miami, first of all, read the article, because that's not what the article says. I feel sorry for the journalists here, because the headline just went away from what he wrote, which was that Inter Miami are confident and hopeful that Messi could sign for Inter Miami. That doesn't sound like he's set to sign, does it? But those stories come, I think, because Inter Miami needs sponsorship, needs attention. They're already contacting players saying Messi will probably come, but he hasn't signed anything yet, and I don't think it'll be next season either. At some point, it will happen. Yes. Thank you, Luke, for the question. Gareth Milbourne says, "Hi Guillem, how's it going?" It's going okay. We met in Brighton years ago. How do you rate Spain's chances in this World Cup? I love Spain. I love Spain. I love what we are doing with Spain, as in we're not asking them to win the World Cup, but we agree that what the style that they chose, most of us feel that is the right choice for us with the midfielders that we've got, with Pedri and Gavi and Busquets, of course. Everybody together, attacking together, and then when you get the ball, just try to get it back. As I said in that clip earlier on, that exclusive clip of this show. I was saying that it's a way of life as well. You know, if you are reactive, you are defensive, you wait for things to happen. That's one way of living. The other one is being proactive. Go and get the ball, do things with it. In fact, we had 65% possession against Germany. Massive. It's interesting how they came out quite disappointed with the fact that we didn't beat Germany, players and managers. And yet they watched it again, and now they think like, actually, we did manage well or well enough what was happening at the end, because we lost control of the ball, but still we didn't. It could have, Sané could have scored at the end. We could have lost, but didn't. So 1-1 was the fair result. Germany is going to grow. I think this result will be seen in a very good light in 2 or 3 games' time. When Germany keeps progressing, I think they will. And meanwhile, we'll see. We've got Brazil in the quarterfinals, and before that, I think it's possibly Belgium or Morocco, I think. Or is it one of them? Anyway, should be favorites for the next one, and after that we will see. I think we'll make life very difficult to Brazil. We've got 29 minutes. I'll keep another 5. I'm enjoying this. Gustavo Fring, he says, as an avid Spain follower, please tell me, do you expect them to crumble because of the youth, and who will be the toughest opponent for them in a knockout phase? Croatia was the other one. Croatia, Morocco, Belgium. We're a step ahead of either of those 3, but in a game, anything can happen. Belgium, disappointing. You can see now that there is a lot of tension within the side that they've been keeping under wraps, but now it's the end of an era and all is coming out. Reminds me of Spain in 2014 in Brazil. Morocco, difficult to beat, and they've got a goal in them. Croatia, exactly the same. So bring them on. And youth has not been a problem at all, has it? So Nelly, again, thank you. Luis Enrique to the Premier League, but where will he go, and how highly rated is Mikel Arteta? Rumors been going around that clubs will want him, and I do. Cheers. Luis Enrique wants the Premier League next. He finishes his contract in this World Cup. He will decide after that. But it has to be a project that he is interested about. He won't go to Nottingham Forest or I don't know, Wolves or Everton or any of those who are fighting for different things to City, United, Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal. That's where he wants to go. But those jobs are taken. So maybe he'll have to or will want to be with Spain until the Euros and then see again. He's not in a rush, but he wants to go to the Premier League. He's learning English. I already published in one of the Coffee with Guillems and a question I asked him in English. I always do in every press conference, partly so you hear his English, but partly because I want him to be tested that way and learn in the process if he can learn through it. But yeah, Premier League next. He has had offers from the Premier League already, and he's always said no. Mikel Arteta, not many people know what he's doing at Arsenal. They see that they're doing well, but they don't know what he's doing. I'm trying to convince Mikel to give me an interview in Spanish so people can understand what he's doing. But yes, of course, he's admired at Barcelona, for instance. He's got no intention of going anywhere. Neither do. They are getting something special is happening at Arsenal. And it's partly, in a big part, down to them too. They don't want to go anywhere. They're really, really happy. At some point, it may happen, but they just want to grow through this, get into the Champions League next season, challenge for the league. You never know. Things are going that way at the moment. So now they're both in a good place. Thank you, Nelly, again. And Amit today says we are halfway into the World Cup. Who do you think have the most balanced squad, capable of going all the way to lifting the trophy? I already mentioned France. I already mentioned Brazil. I think Germany definitely have got an option. Spain, depending what happens. England is interesting because I felt that against United States, two things failed for them. United States were more physical than England, which is a bit of a surprise. They moved the ball very, very cleverly and with fluidity as well. And that lack of fluidity with England had to do with the head. Gareth Southgate has been working at making sure that players feel comfortable, the pressure is lifted off the shoulders. And yet, once the tournament arrives, that's when you realize what kind of players you've got. And I think he feels that some were affected by the event. So we'll see maybe one or two changes in the team, but they have to release that pressure. If they can't do it, they are candidates like any other team, because I feel that they've got to front such an amount of quality, and they defend well enough. They're strong in set pieces. They hardly concede. A lot of very good reasons for England to also be candidate. Wayne Du says, hello, Guillem Balague, that's me. How do you think England will go today against Wales and their prospects for the rest of the tournament, provided they qualify? Well, that is the question I was answering, because I do feel I would like also England to win the World Cup. I was talking yesterday in Five Live with Emma Saunders about Iñaki Williams and how he was born from Ghana family into Spain and now plays for Ghana, but Nico Williams plays for Spain. And I was with Seb Bosson, the former player, Newcastle player, and more. At Cameroon International, he was born in France, and we were talking about the fluidity, the word again, the fluidity of nationalities, how the nationalities, the borders are blurred now, especially now that people travel. And I love that. The richness of that is just brilliant. So if I was called up by England or Spain and I had to choose for the league of journalists, it'd be hard for me. Seb said that his grandfather told him, when you hear the anthems, listen to your reaction and then decide. And of course, he was affected and got goosebumps with the Cameroon national anthem, so he went with Cameroon. But I feel so English, British, and so Spanish at the same time. I do. I wouldn't know what to do. So that is wonderful. So this is an excuse for me to say that yes, I would like England to win it, and that's a genuine feeling. Patricia González Muñiz, who is of course is leading the whole media department at Beaglesville United, alongside Aria and Ari and Alberto. Says, which team has surprised you the most in a good way? I like Canada in the first game. They were quite fun to watch. I thought I expected more from Senegal, but I understand that yeah, the team is not full of strength, of course. Expected more of Cameroon. Mm, you know, there has been this World Cup more nil-nils than in any other group stage in the World Cup, in the other World Cups. That's because teams are so strong defensively. They are fit halfway through the season. The systems are well organized, well oiled, which means that it's difficult for others to surprise. But I'm trying to think. I enjoy the second game of Iran, for instance, especially having come on the disappointment of the 6-2 against England. Disappointed with Wales. But one team that you think, oh, I hope it really goes far, and we did not expect them to be there. I cannot think of any right now. So, should we do the last question? 36 minutes. I kept you, some of you anyway, in here. What next for Ronaldo? Lee J says, yes, it's true that he's got a massive offer from Saudi Arabia. I honestly believe that he's got something. Otherwise, you don't put that kind of interview out there with the idea of being kicked out of a club. I do think he's got something. Oh, I'm back. So anyway, yeah, I think he's got something, but perhaps it's not in elite football. This is just my guess, and seeing the performances of Ronaldo in the last year, plus knowing how he trains, not very well. Maybe he's realized that he's got to go somewhere where he's adored, but where he's not expected to win the Champions League, for instance. It will be very hard for him to do that, very hard. So we're going to have to wait. But I will be surprised if it's an elite club in Europe. I'll be massively surprised. MLS, Saudi Arabia, maybe. More likely, I think. Right. Oh, hold on. Pat Butt, can you get Messi to play for Bigles or United FC? I'm sure you can convince him. You sure I can convince him? He's already done. He took a picture with the shirt and he signed a couple of shirts as well. At some point, I'll get him to sign the new one as well. And yeah, he knows our Bigles or United. Let's put it that way. Which is a lot more that I expected him to know. I put it in his head, but I think that's as far as he's going to go. Right, I've got an interview with an Irish radio. Let me see. I'll tell you what it is. I'm going to record very soon now. Off the ball. I'm going to be off the ball talking about this. Cinta Dasanayake says, hello, I really enjoy your content and you can inspire me to study more details about the game and aspects of the game. So thank you so much. Wow, I would like to know how to pronounce your name. Guillem Balague. That's the way. And that was a nice way of finishing, actually. Thank you very much. There'll be more coffee with Guillem tomorrow. Thank you to my team, to Aria, to Ari, and to everybody from 42 who is actually behind the scenes, putting all these things together. And hope to see you all soon. Bye-bye.